Hey everybody, welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. My name is Ron. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. So I have been on vacation for the past 2 weeks, and I got back a few days ago, but been trying to get myself in order and get everything sorted out, and just made me think of some things while I was on vacation pertaining to my alcoholism. So one of the many great things about being sober, but about being on vacation while being sober, is that I get to actually enjoy my vacation. No sneaking off to get drunk or waking up hungover or getting into fights with people and things like that. I got to hang out with my grandchildren and got to see my mom and visit with my mom and friends that put me up for the 2 weeks, and that wouldn't have happened had I still been drinking. Lots of things. It was really nice. It was probably the best vacation I've had in a long time, and certainly the most relaxing vacation that I've had in a long time. But also, I guess, let me start off by saying, too, that, again, I am not a medical professional or a therapist or anything, so all the things that I'm going to say in this video are strictly my opinions and based off of my experiences. But I want to talk a little bit about a few things. Kind of going to be a little bit all over the place, which is fine, but got into my head a little bit after getting back from vacation, thinking about all of the what ifs. What if I hadn't started drinking when I was 13? What if I hadn't moved down here to the Virgin Islands? What if I had made a million different decisions? And the what ifs lead into regrets, and the regrets lead into depression, and the depression leads into some seriously dangerous thinking as far as sobriety goes. It got me thinking about my rock bottoms too, and another YouTuber that I watch and really enjoy, channels called Bat Country. He got into the rock bottoms, and one of the things that he touched on, and I've discussed with numerous people in Alcoholics Anonymous and in other places, is that a lot of people feel like you have to have a rock bottom in order to get sober. And I started thinking a lot about my rock bottoms, because I've had more than a few, and then when I hit rock bottom, I feel like what I think is a rock bottom, I go out and I do even more damage, and I hit even lower bottom. And my sponsor said to me, he goes, one of these days you just have to put the shovel down. And I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like, you just get into this habit of just, you keep digging yourself deeper and deeper until you find the next bottom. Like, I thought, at one point my rock bottom was just, I had screamed too much at my kid and got kicked out of my house, and another night spending a night or whatever in jail. I had a DUI when I was 21. That wasn't even close to a rock bottom. I didn't even care about that, but like ending up in rehab again, and just kind of laughing it off as like, oh, it's just kind of, it's where I'm at. It's kind of normal, I guess. I don't even, like, how do you normalize that? Like, normal people don't end up in rehab and just think, oh, here I am in rehab. I guess I belong here, or whatever. And then, but even that wasn't my worst rock bottom. It's just, and every rock bottom gets so much worse. Like, I don't want to get into too much details, because there's really no need to. I mean, but like I'll just use my last freaking 3 days of my last little bit of drinking as this was my like personal rock bottom, you know, like the worst of the worst, like, because there's no going to rehab here, there's no going to jail here really, like, you know, I made my own prison essentially, but you know, I I came to in my car or something. I even forget exactly where I was, but I had no recollection of the past of the previous 4 days. Like, and I pissed myself. I didn't know where I was. My wife was fucking pissed at me leaving me. You know, I pissed off a lot of people, I think. And then on top of it all, like, I really feel like I almost died from that, like 3.5 day, 4 day freaking blackout. And I'm normalizing that. Like, what the hell? But anyways, that gets back into I got sober, and now I'm, you know, now I have my family. I have the good things in my life. And, you know, I know there's that cliche saying, you know, everything happens for a reason. Well, I hate that fucking saying. I like the saying, everything happens the way it's supposed to. And that's true. And that's what carries me through a lot of my darker times and my emotional struggles. But everything happens the way that it's supposed to. So if I didn't, you know, if I didn't do the things that I did to lead me to this point in my life, I wouldn't have the 3 wonderful daughters that I have now. I wouldn't have the beautiful wife that I have now. I wouldn't have the grandchildren that I have now. I mean, was there a lot of struggles? For sure. Was it ever easy? No. No, I feel like my entire life has been one big freaking trip on the struggle bus. But you know what? I made it through. And here I am now. Tomorrow, God willing, I'll have 5 months sober. I also just hit 100 subscribers on the channel, so woohoo! Good job, guys. Thank you for all your support. But anyways, what ifs? Like I can't change the past. I know it. Like it says in the big book, you know, we can't forget the past, but we don't want to shut the door on it, or whatever it says. I'm kind of paraphrasing, I think. But man, like how different. Like there was a point in time too, like way back in the day when right after my second daughter was born, there was an opportunity for me up in New Hampshire. I had found a big beautiful house, and I had found a job, and was all set to move. And at the last moment, my ex-wife decided that we can't move because she didn't want to be that far away from her mother, and so we didn't go. So part of me, you know, is like thinks back to, man, what would have happened had we made that move? You know, would the stresses of life have been different? Would things have been different where I might not have drank so much? And then, you know, made some of the decisions that I made. And then, you know, what if I hadn't, you know, yelled at my daughter? What if I hadn't freaking gotten that DUI? What if, you know, and what if I had, you know, gone, you know, even things like what if I had gone to college, or what, I don't know. It's just, that's how my brain works, and it just spirals out of control. And there's a million, like, it's noisy in my head. Like I like to call it the white noise. And it just, it goes like 1,000,000 miles an hour sometimes. So yeah, that's the way my brain goes. And then I just start getting so freaking depressed about it. Like how did I like settle for the things that I settled for and considered normal for all those years? How did I let myself lose my family? How did I let myself blah blah blah? How? I don't know. But I did. And I can't change it. And some days it's harder than others. to dig myself out of those mental holes, but I have to, because that is the fast track to relapsing right there if I let myself go down those rabbit holes. And so one of the things obviously that I do, that I said before, is that I meditate in the morning and I pray about it, and I go to AA meetings and I talk to my sponsor about it, and I have a therapist and I talk to her about it. And I think that this is one of the things that plagues a lot of us alcoholics, is that we just get stuck in our heads so deeply and with the what ifs, and then the what ifs lead to the fuck it's and the fuck it's lead to drinking. So we've got to avoid that at all costs. But there is, on the flip side of that, though, like I said, you've got to look at all the good that has come out of all the freaking disasters. You really do. Like, yeah, it'll drive you fucking nuts. But then I also think about where I am now and the things that have changed since getting sober. And I talked about it a little earlier, but it's all the good thing, and it's redemption. It's redemption and living a life of gratitude, but it's redemption. Like you're not irredeemable. You can redeem yourself by getting sober and staying sober and doing the next right thing on a daily basis. And it's that future that you have to look forward to, and that future that is absolutely 100% free of bondage. Like, I'll share a story, and I don't know if I shared this before in another video. I don't have a very good memory, and also I'm not going back to watch all my videos to see if I'm, kind of rehashing some stuff I've already talked about. But, you talk about redemption. One day, I talked about getting my granddaughters and my grandsons and my daughters back in my life. I hadn't talked to my middle kid for almost a year, because we got into a huge fight when I was drunk, and if hadn't sobered up, I wasn't gonna get to meet her son. And then my oldest daughter too, even though we had a relationship, she said to me that she wasn't gonna really have me have much to do with anything with her son either, because she didn't want him to be around that kind of a mess. And then I talked about this before, I know. My wife was literally 1 foot out the door, was getting ready to leave me. Well, the other day, we're having a conversation, and she just turns to me and she just says to me, she goes, Ron, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, what? Because I'm getting my shit together? And she's like, yeah. She's like, you've put so much, you've worked so hard for so many, you're working so hard, and you're putting the effort into yourself. And she said, I finally have the husband I've always wanted. And like, fucking damn near started, because that was awesome. And then my middle kid, who hasn't talked to me, who will be the first one to tell you that that her father's a fucking asshole, looked at me dead in the eyes the other day. We sat down, we had a huge talk while I was back in the States, when I was back in Boston. And she just looked at me, she said, and she was just like, Dad, she goes, I know you've got problems, we've all got problems. She goes, but you know what? She goes, you're fixing them. She goes, I just wanted to be the first to tell you that I'm proud of you, Dad. And I was like, aww. And she goes, and and she looked at me again, right in the eyes, and she said, the only reason that you're meeting my son right now is because I see how hard you're working, and because I see that you're sober, and I see that you're, going to be a good role model for him. And so, yeah. And then same thing with my oldest and my youngest, all of them, everybody's saying how proud they are of me. And I personally, like I said, I just feel like I'm just getting my shit together. I'm being a productive, normal member of society, one day at a time. It's a great feeling, though. And then I'll kind of lighten up the whole vibe of this video a little bit, but like, it was great. Like, I'm I can be there. So on the way home from Boston, I'm on the plane, and my daughter's on the same flight with my grandson, and you know, judge me or whatever. I don't really give a shit, but it was great because I could hear him squawk. He was starting to squawk on the second. He was fantastic for most of the flight, but just towards the end, he was starting to get a little, like on the last leg of the flight, he was starting to get a little squawky, and so I grabbed him, and my wife took a couple of pictures of it. I have him on my lap, and we're watching an action movie, and the two of us kind of have this little similar look on our faces just watching the movie. We're just so engrossed in it and so intent. And he's got his little hands together and everything, and it was great. And he loved hanging out with his Grampy and his Mimi. And we're watching, and it was a Jason Statham movie, probably not the best movie for a baby to be watching, but you know what, he's a baby, and whatever. He don't know. But so we're doing that, and we go through the whole flight, and I'm holding him at the airport once we land, and waiting for our ride. His father was picking all of us up, and waiting for a ride, and we're on the car ride, and we get on the car barge, and we're heading over, and we're about halfway to St. John, and he just looks at me, and I look at him, and I could see it right in his face, and I just said out loud to my wife, I go, oh, he's had enough. And right after I said that, he just, and his bottom lip pouts out a little bit, and then he just starts screaming his head off. And I'm like, I feel you, kid. If I could freaking sit here and scream my head off, I would too. My point in telling that story, though, is that those are the moments and the experiences that we get to have when we're friggin' sober, when we're doing good in life, when we're trying, when we're not freaking just a big bag of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that we have to look forward to. And, I really feel like I've gone from rock bottom to on top of the world. I really have. And it's through one day at a time. And it's through hard work and dedication and doing a complete 180 on my life and doing the next right thing on a daily basis. And you know what? I said it before, and whatever, I don't advocate for any one particular recovery program, but mine is AA. And if it wasn't for the principles and the program as it's laid down and working it as it's laid down, I wouldn't be where I am today. I don't know where I would be. I don't know. I might be dead. I probably would be dead, honestly, because that's where I was heading. That's where I was heading. I was that type of an alcoholic, that type of a drinker. I was drinking myself to an early grave. I don't know. But in 5 months, and that's all it is. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow will be my 5 months sober. And in 5 short months, I've gone from rock bottom to on top of the world. It's great. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, guys. But anyways, I guess that's all I got for today. It's been just a great 2 weeks. Having a great time. I'm out of my little funk that I was in, and I'm just looking forward to everything that life has to offer. But anyways, if you could just hit the like and subscribe button, share it with your friends, leave a comment, please. I love chatting with everybody. It's wonderful. But yeah, so I'm back, and I'll be coming at you with more videos on a regular basis moving forward. But thank you.